Hello everyone, this is Zeynep from Bilsart. Before the talk starts, I would like to make a short introduction. Bilsart is in a collaboration with Karabakh Cultural Academy as a part of the Studio Bosphorus Festival during September. First, we are hosting Philip Lehman exhibition entitled AKM Turkish Night between September 1-11. And then we will host Ezgi Kılınçarslan exhibition entitled The Reduced Cycle between September 16-30. And thank you to Karabakh Cultural Academy for organizing this exhibition. Today, the artist Philip Lehman is talking with Aslı Can from Yeditepe University, the Department of Architecture. Thank you to her for being with us for today. The talk is in English. We are recording the conversation to upload later on Bilsart YouTube channel. We can start if you wish to hear Aslı and Philip. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeynep. Do you hear me well, everybody?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Hi, and thank you for being here. I want to say first that I'm very impressed with Philip's work, and I'm also very happy that we met. So thank you for this opportunity, Çiğdem and Zeynep. Philip, before we start, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I also want to thank Zeynep and Çiğdem, of course, and Zeynep and Shirin for making this possible at Bilsart. And Aslı, thanks a lot for being my co-host, for the talk. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to also seeing pictures of the exhibition, because I'm in actually Munich at the moment. So we're having a very international, lovely, big conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you too. Okay, first I want to say that we'll be talking about Philip's work, AKM Turkish Night. The title is AKM Turkish Night, but also the kind of structure, not a historical narration, but we will talk about our AKM's history and connected to today with the Philip's work. It will be on the focus, of course, but we got some slides for you, some pictures for you. We will be going back and forth from Philip's work to the history of AKM, and I would like to emphasize that all the archive images are from SALT Research Hayati Tabanlıoğlu archive, and this was actually one of my previous works. I have an article on AKM, so that's where I bring some historical approach to the work, but of course the focus is on Philip, of course. Now I would like to share my screen. Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, Philip, I would like to start with this picture, with this photo of AKM. This is from the 1960s. This shows the construction site of Hayati Tabanlıoğlu's project, and the aluminium facade is being produced by Arçelik. And I basically choose this picture because it shows structure of the very structure of AKM building, and it is of course related to your artwork, which is actually videotaping AKM and only the remaining structure. So we might see that the AKM that you have on video has basically the same structure with the one in the 1960s. So this is where we are starting here. I wanted to show you these both pictures and just emphasize that the AKM originally had the same construction that it had until it got destructed. This is the head architect of AKM. This is Dr. Hayati Tabanlıoğlu. He mentioned that the truth is that the intellectual person had to show patience by waiting 23 years for the building to be finished. It's a long history. We will be talking about this. I want all of you to remember this very quotation, because we will be coming back to it in the following slides. But we are going on with the video. Philip, I want you to start with AKM Turkish Night. Why did you choose that kind of a title, and what does Turkish Night mean to you?
So, I mean, would I like also briefly go back to your slide and then the video, because it's actually more or less like some kind of beginning, and the video is some kind of end of this very building, and it spans a nice bridge between these two versions of the AKM. And here the title refers, actually, I mean, AKM is pretty clear, I guess. It's the Külturmerkezi. But the title Turkish Night, in quotation, in brackets, refers actually to a special cinematic effect that was very common in the 20s, 30s, and a bit later too. And the French called it Nuit Américaine, the American night, because it was a way of filming during the day and then closing the aperture. So you have at the finished film product the impression that it's night. Actually, it was filmed during the day, but it looks like as if it is at night. So there's a kind of like twist, because of the film material was not so sensitive back then, so they couldn't really film at night, so they had to do it this way. But it's also like it's kind of pretending, but it's real. So it was really filmed, but it's not day, and it's artificial night. So, and this refers here to the Turkish night. Of course, when this building was taken down in 2018, and I arrived in March of 2018 to start my residency at the Academy of Tarabya, the Cultural Academy Tarabya. The first moment I came up on Taksim Square, it was a very kind of like dark afternoon, clouds were heavy. And then there was this building, and it looked so dark. And this was the first building I actually saw in Istanbul. And it left me with a lasting impression. And I thought, such an important square, the Taksim Square. And then this building, which is kind of like a black hole to me. So this is actually how my wonderful Turkish adventure started. And that's also the beginning of this film. And the colors are actually a quotation of something that's coming later in the video with the rainbow colors. And but I don't want to get too far now. This is like the explanation for the title.
Turkish Night. It's a very beautiful reference, and it's very meaningful. It has so many overlapped meanings. So thank you for explaining this to us. The video starts with searchlights. Here, like you see on the screen, you can see the structure of AKM, and inside the structure, you might see the white searchlights here. What are you searching for in the building, Philip?
Actually, the whole building, to put in these lights and the colors later on, was reconstructed in 3D by a company in Munich, Gate 11, and then we started to put in all the lights in a 3D way. And here the searchlights, it's like you start like to really understand where you are actually, because in the beginning, the building is very dark and it has these holes. And then slowly, like, you know, a kind of choreography of colors and lights start. But first of all, it has to be in my understanding, a kind of location. And the searchlights also refer to also maybe the 20s and 30s in Hollywood, where they had in front of the big cinemas, searchlights. And of course it was used also in during the wars in Germany and wherever, you know, when you have like airplanes coming, air raids. So the searchlight has a lot of different meanings in a way. And my work mainly revolves around collective imagery and understanding what is it, what connects us, and how do we connect via images. And so the searchlight was just one of the, let's say, collective imagery topics that I wanted to start with this building.
You have very beautiful references to the world of cinema, actually, the cinematic world. This is a very valuable thing, I think. So moving on to the second phase, here we have turquoise and red colors, lights actually. And as far as I'm concerned, you put very multiple meanings to the colors. So here, what are you referring to with these both colors?
So after the searchlights, these two colors appear. And for me, because I wanted to have like, to take the building as a kind of canvas, like it's a moving painting and the possibility for a moving painting. So there are a lot of little things like the little moon on top of it, and they were all digitally added. And the moment the searchlights go off, these two colors appear one after the other. And the red, of course, as you can also see with the Turkish flag, refers to the Republic of Turkey and the political situation that's still in charge. And the turquoise is something that I read back then, that President Recep Erdogan wants to change the national color from red to turquoise. And I've seen it already at the airport in Istanbul. And it's an interesting topic because color, in my understanding, has a lot of important meanings, especially in Turkey and especially in Istanbul, starting from Byzance to Constantinople to Istanbul. There were always colors involved. I read about a rebellion in 532 after AD, when the Emperor Justinian had in the Hippodrome fights between charioteers, so with horses and wagons. And there were two fan clubs, the green and the blue, and there were always competing parties in Istanbul, Byzance, Constantinople. So the color actually for me starts like the contemporary, contemporary comment, in my opinion, starts here with the red and the turquoise, like the changing. And it's for me, it was a kind of like fight maybe between the colors that starts here.
I think it's fantastic. And here you mentioned that you use the building as something like a canvas. And so you are reflecting these colors on the canvas. I wanted to ask you, what do you think of architecture as a canvas of an artwork? Do you think you add multiple layers on the meaning or symbolizing of the RKM? How did you come to the idea that you want to use the RKM as a canvas?
I mean, this moment when the facade is taken off and you can really look inside, it's a kind of naked structure. And in my opinion, like film has these wonderful options, and now even with 3D and digitally created elements, to implement some kind of moving history and show like you know, moments that were maybe that are not visible like in a regular static architecture. So architecture, of course, also like in a wider term, in a longer period, is always kind of changing. And the AKM, as it has such a great importance in Istanbul to the different generations too, you know, like everything they lived through. And I thought this is the perfect moment. The facade is off, gone, and you can look inside and see what's inside. So I don't want to get into too much into metaphorical terms, but it's a wonderful opportunity to paint and refer to the collective imagery and collective memory.
I think that's very brilliant, Philip. Now that you mentioned something about the history of AKM, I want to continue with some historical images. This is the model of the first project designed for the Opera building by two architects, Hikmettin Güney and Feridun. These are the two architects that designed the building back then in the 1940s, before the main architect that I showed you in the beginning, Hayati Tabanlıoğlu. This building was never finished. However, there was a groundbreaking ceremony of the building with the attendance of Lütfü Kırdar, the governor and mayor of Istanbul. And I want you to look at the date. It's October 29th, and it's also the anniversary of the Republic of Turkey, grounding the Republic of Turkey. And this is a construction site. This building was, like I mentioned, never finished. And this construction site stood like this for so many years. And here I'm switching to your artwork again. This is a very important and interesting coincidence for me. That's also in your video. This frame stands still. I mean, that you are not doing anything on the building. It stands still for like 40 seconds or something like that. And I think maybe you are doing it as an introduction, but I find it really coincidentally interesting that they it kind of symbolizes the standing still of the building in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it's a wonderful image that you came up with, you know, with the old building in front of the building, like the old building. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to situate and let the viewers just, you know, have a look at the original building before starting something. And also, like, you have different movements in the film, like, you know, a lot of people passing by, the cars going back and forth, and the flag. So I wanted to give people time to settle in the picture, in the image, and understand what it is they're looking at.
Yeah, perfect. Now I'm showing you the model of the Opera building, the one that got built, which was designed by Hayati Tabanlıoğlu. And I want you to look carefully at the facade. It's an aluminum facade, aluminum construction on the outside, and it has almost the whole surface as a glass facade back in the behind the aluminum construction. This is the frontal facade photo from 1969. Another information that I would like to give is that the building was first, Hayati Tabanlıoğlu's building was first finished in 1969 and was open to the public. And this is a detail from the frontal facade. So now I kind of find it really interesting that in the fourth minute of your presentation of your artwork, you have these green and red lights going up and down. And they are like, you know, small rectangles here, which kind of resembles to the frontal aluminum facade of AKM. What would you like to say on this very image?
I mean, with the red and the green, which is actually referring to the light of scanners. So after the searchlights, I also thought that, you know, like a kind of contemporary form of understanding a three-dimensional objects is to scan it. And green and red are actually the scanning colors. So what's happening here is like a kind of like huge scanner goes up and down in these two colors, scanning the whole building. And of course, if you have like these columns in the front and then the light hits this column and then goes to the back, it gives the impression that they're little rectangles. That's true. But also what's lovely here to see in your image is there's this one guy sleeping on the bench. And, yes. And this was also an important element because one of my major references in this concept was Goya, The Sleep of Reason Produces Monsters. So it's a famous work by Goya, the Spanish painter. And there are a lot of like birds flying every once in a while. And it was kind of like inspiration for me, just like to give you another hint.
Well, it's really amazing. And here we have the red ones on the third floor of RKM. And just for a small little information, the third floor used to be an art gallery space. It's on the top floor of RKM. So that's kind of showing that RKM is not only an opera building, but it's a total work of art. It just wanted to house all kinds of arts, and it also has a gallery space in it. This is from the construction of the building, and I wanted to give these slides first this one and come here because it's like you are pointing out the third floor, and there was an art gallery space, which which was really important for the art scene of Turkey. So I wanted to point this out. Going forward, in order to be able to explain RKM's importance, we might see two pictures. This is Süleyman Demirel, the Prime Minister of the day, visiting the construction site. Here he's here in the middle, and this is Hayati Tabanlıoğlu, the architect of the building. And here we have Cevdet Sunay, the president of the day, visiting the construction site. And here we have the architect again. So it was that much important back then, the building, the construction of the building. And like I mentioned in the beginning, the people waited 23 years in order to be able to finish it. We have this beautiful orange color here, Philip. Can you, and it is here like we see the whole interior of the building. What would you like to say about this, Frank?
Yeah, so this light seems to come like from the very back, like down and very back of the building. And it's a kind of like orange, gold, glowing. And of course, it has also a reference to Roman, the golden times in a way. But also, for me, orange is also a kind of, it's kind of connected, the color, with joie de vivre and, you know, like youth and change, and like the Orange Revolution in Ukraine or so. The orange has a kind of like transition. It's a kind of transition color in my understanding. And here what's sparkling from the very back of the building. So all the colors and the lights before were like from the front and like looking at or projecting on the building, and this one is like coming from down and below and very back. So this is a different angle of looking at things.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect color and a very beautiful frame we have here. If this is the RKM from 1977, this is where I wanted to show you the glass facade, the importance of the glass facade, because all the lightings inside were designed by Johannes Dinabiya, and the architect and the light designer, they wanted the light to be reflected on like the Taksim Square, the most important square of Istanbul probably. And I put this slide here after the orange one because if this image has color, it would be like yellow, orange, and showing all the interior. So I find it really interesting coincidence. Here we have purple, my favorite color actually. I want to emphasize it. I want to say that the Taksim Square is also a politically most important square of Istanbul. We will come back to that, but there are so many things going on in the history of Turkey, and they most often took place here on the Taksim Square. And maybe I thought of the feminist flag here by seeing the red, by seeing the color purple. So what do you say about that?
Oh, that's a wonderful reference, actually. Love it. I mean, the purple, I also love it a lot. And it has also kind of historical meanings because, like, I think the emperor's clothes back then were purple because it was the most expensive color. The process of dyeing, of getting this color on clothes and getting the color in the clothes was very difficult. So it's a kind of royal color, but it's also as wonderful as you put it. It's also a symbol of resistance and definitely for female resistance and fighting for your rights. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
So now you mentioned the word resistance. I would like to go on with the changing colors. It's like rainbow colors for several seconds here. The color is changing, and it reminds me of the flag of the LGBTI. So they on the Pride Week, they always want to march to Taksim and in front of AKM, and they are banned mostly from the police. So it's also kind of gave me this beautiful feeling that it also references to this very beautiful flag.
I mean, definitely, it's an important activist symbol, the rainbow colors. But in general, it's just rainbows, and it's definitely also referring to the to the flag. And what's also important, maybe I don't know, maybe it comes at a later point, is the sound, the music that was composed by Anders Elin, Swedish sound artist. And like each of these images, or like say each of the pictures we created has an underlying specially composed score. And here there are little elements like a starting airplane, like at an airport, big airplane, and we will come later to it, but it's also the reference with the LGBT colors and rainbow. Yeah, it's a special composition of visual and audio.
I think it's very brilliant and fantastic. Here we have multiple lights, multiple colors reflecting on the various sites of the construction. So in the first, when I first see it, and also by walking with it, reminds me of this paint by Mondrian. What do you say about that?
Yes, it's true. It has a reference to Mondrian in a way, but also like to the modernist element of this wonderful building and all the thoughts that come with it. And also here the score that Anders composed is a kind of like fractioned, broken up bebop element, which also has some like a kind of like playful mode reference to it.
This is one of the most interesting points of the artwork. There we feel like the AKM is an aquarium. Here we have the reflections of the water, like a light comes on a water or something. So why did you use that kind of lighting here?
That actually was, the idea came after I visited the Great Cistern in Istanbul. It's a huge, wonderful world under the city. And it was actually also an important place for refugees in 1453, when the conquest of Istanbul happened, the fall of Constantinople, and quite some people tried to hide in this cistern. And if you ever go to Istanbul, please don't miss to visit this wonderful place. And now with the light, it's for me, it was this moment of resistance when you have to go underground, and also you bring in here some kind of like seaside water, decay, but also beauty. And in a building that's been torn down, I think it adds another layer, especially in a building. Water in a building, usually water is some kind of moment of destruction, but here it's also like a last moment of beauty, I think.
I think it's very beautiful, like mentioned. Here I have a slide. I have a picture of the opening night. It's the April 12th, 1969. This is the architect Hayati Tabanoğlu. They are in front of this beautiful ceramic wall. And about this ceramics, it's by the ceramic artist Sadi Diren. And they kind of changed the light. They can do the light tricks because it has this pyramidal shape tiles, all reflecting the light in another way. So I think you also found it beautiful when you saw this picture, right?
Absolutely, this is so amazing, and especially like these kind of pyramid elements in it, like breaking up the surface and reflecting the light. That was also a great inspiration. Plus, I was given kindly one of these tiles, actually two of the tiles, and I was very happy to obtain these, and it's a treasure, and I think it was a wonderful element back then.
Here I want to show the main foyer's lighting, the main foyer of the Grand Hall, and like I mentioned, the lighting designs Johannes Dinnebier, very important and a very sweet man actually from Germany. And these bubble-like lightings kind of makes me remember to this item, this element from your artwork. They kind of refer to each other very coincidentally. So what do you think about that? Another bubble photo, for example. Yeah, I found it really, really impressive.
Yeah, that's. I think there's a kind of course, there's a direct connection to it. And all these little elements, light elements, like bubbles, go up slowly. And for me, of course, Dinnebier's interior was incredibly beautiful inspiration. But also, like, I always kind of like if I use moving imagery to refer to, as I said, like the collective memory in a way. And for me, it's also this moment of how every, or almost every Walt Disney movie starts. It's like Cinderella's castle, and then the stars are spread over it, like. So this element of stars going up, I think it's also a kind of romantic topos, and I thought it's adequate to use it here.
Another picture from the archive will be also this children's cinema from IKEA. It also has this bubble-like lightings again by Johannes Dinnebier, and the colors on the ceiling bubbles kind of also resemble the colors of these items that are going up in your artwork. So that's why I wanted to show you this image as well.
Yeah.
Going on, this is one of my favorite moments because this very lighting here, this very color kind of reminds me of the fire in November 27th, 1970. I want to underline that it is only 1 year after the finishing of the construction, so it got on fire. And here, when I first saw your artwork, I kind of got the feeling like this is on fire now. And I don't know if it's the direct reference, but it makes me think of that, and it's very impressive from that point of view for me.
Yeah, it has, of course, also a reference to the fire, and like here, especially one floor and then another floor slowly coming up. And but for me, it was also a way of addressing the Gezi protests, because when this happened in 2013, 14, the AKM was used as a kind of like pin wall. So they had all the posters and elements there, and because it was empty, so the protesters could use it as their own manifestation in a way. And often they lit little fires on top of the building and showing things. And so in a way, this also refers to this special history of AKM and Taksim Square in Istanbul, of course.
Exactly. I will come back to that in a minute. Now, this is the next day after the fire in 1970, and this is like the we can see the structure, we can see the destructed aluminium facade, and I find it really, I think it's an impressive image, so I want to show that. Here we have Süleyman Demirel, the Prime Minister of the day, visiting the site after the fire. And it kind of brings me to your this item of the artwork, where on the top right of the building, you can see this lighting here. Like it's like emphasizing that it's a construction site for me. What would you like to say about that?
Yeah, it looks like somebody is welding there, and all the sparks coming down. Everything, of course, artificial here, and it adds some kind of like strange little element in my understanding to it. And I wanted to have like something that's really going very much into details. The whole thing is filmed in 4K, so usually it's very detailed. You see the little sparks falling down, and it was a kind of playful moment, but also how to address a balance in a way. You have the big black building, and then on the right side something that's almost like, also this is for me kind of like almost romantic element of destruction, when these welders appear and they start taking down the steel and iron, and these wonderful little sparks. It's like a transformation of material. So
exactly. Okay. Here we have this red light. It's going from from left to right, which, with your reference, of course, brought me to this image. What do you say about this?
Yeah, it's actually it's in a way a strange pop twist, I think. This light is like just right behind the wall and under the ceiling of the lower level, going back and forth, and so it addresses also the wall. The light gives the wall a little more presence, since the light, you see it on the right side, and the red appears right over the wall. So this was also an element to make the wall more visible, and of course, as you said, with Kit, address some kind of pop twist that was part of my youth in a way, with David Hasselhoff, I recall.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And by coming to the end, I would like to have this quotation. It says, like people, buildings have a destiny. Sometimes the construction of some and the destruction of others becomes an event in the life of our cities. So here, just to remind you that it took 23 years for the building to be finished, and it got on fire the next year. It took then 8 years to be finished again, and then it's got destructed at the end anyway. So do you think that the destiny of this building is like it's tainted? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's tainted, and in my case, it's painted in a way.
Yeah.
And I think the AKM, like almost no other building that I know in Istanbul, kind of reflects also the kind of dramatic situation that that Turkey is living through, and it's an amazing building in the collective memory. And I talked to quite some people who said they were also devastated that it's taken down finally. And but maybe it's a part of the life of buildings and of cities. And I'm looking forward to seeing the new building by Murat Tabanyolu, who's the son of the architect who built the first one. And it looks interesting and highly fascinating, and I think it's going to be a new milestone maybe. But I want to keep the memory of the former building in a way, and as we already discussed, like use it as a painting, as a canvas for a moving painting that involves the different changes in history, and address topics, and keep people aware of things that happened and that shaped their own individual, but also the collective history.
That's fantastic reference, Philip. Really, I find it really impressive. Just about the history, this is the Bloody 1st May from 1977, and this is the AKM building. And here I want to add an image of Gezi Park events, like you mentioned them before. So at the end, all these events, again with the collective memory, of course, brings us to this one here, the destruction. This is from Hürriyet, a newspaper from 1218, showing the destruction. But it's, of course, the history turns, and it's of course it will be going to the construction of this one. So I found it really good to finish with this very image. Here we have the lighting of the inside. I mean, it's like transparent. We can see the inside, and also we have the aluminum facade, and it's also there are lights in it, and it's kind of felt that it's a nice way to finish this discussion by pointing out the lights and the transparency of the structure. So what do you want to say about that?
No, what I really appreciate and love a lot is that Murat Tabanyolu keeps the facade in a way. And it's a wonderful memory also of his father's work. And
exactly.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And maybe it's giving a kind of new spirit to the city. I hope it's going to be nicely accepted, and yeah, we have to see.
Well, Philip, this is a fantastic work. I am really, really happy that I was able to see it, and it is fantastic also for me to be able to talk on AKM again. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for letting me have this session with you on the AKM.
Aslı, thank you so much. And I really love how the wonderful research you did. It's really amazing, like stuff I haven't seen before, actually. And I also definitely want to thank Chidem of Cultural Academy Tarabya and Pia, who helped me so much in realizing and making this possible. And of course, Zeynep and Şeren at Bilsart,
Exactly.
to showing it. And also to Murat Habanyolu and his wonderful crew, who led me into their archive and do research. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Philip. Zeynep and Chidem, I think that's it from us, but maybe we can have some questions. Philip can. What do you think, Zeynep?
Thank you, Philip, and also for the perfect presentation and conversation. Yes, is there any questions or comments?
I have a question. Will you be uploading? Will you be uploading this recording on the website?
Yes, on Bilsart's YouTube channel and also website. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
I want to also thank you, all of you. I know, of course, the work of Philip very well, because I all the time follows the process. But Aslı, I was very, very happy that you make this discussion with Philip, because otherwise we will not, you make so good references to the old building. I was really shocked, because my childhood, I was very often in AKM, and you bring me all to the old time again. And thank you very much for this presentation. It was amazing. Thank you, Aslı. And Philip, of course, you that you made this video under the really difficult circumstances. And we will show also in Berlin this video. And thank you again to Bilsart that they give us the opportunity to show this video first time in Istanbul. Therefore, it's also very important. Thank you very much, Zeynep, Ceren, and all the team of Bilsart.
Yes, it's a premiere. Thank you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. And Philip, it was so nice to meet you again.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Chidem. Thank you again to Tarabya Cultural Academy, of course. Yes.
Thank you to also Zeynep. Thank you very much.
So the exhibition could be visited until September 11th at Bilsart.
Wonderful.
Okay, then.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.